hold your fire. This is Lakshmi Bai, the leader of the rebellion.
She is your confederate. Have you taken leave of your senses, man?
I might ask the same question.
The wait is finally over. I finally seen Captain America Civil War less than, an hour or two ago, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. This is not the movie that will make me a Marvel fan. I just put that out there. I'm a DC guy. I still like DC. But this Marvel movie was incredible. It was incredible. I think the only way I'm gonna be watching Marvel movies if it's a Captain America movie, because the first one was decent, the second one was superb, and this one just phenomenal. It's damn. Wow. And Spider-Man and Captain America. Those are the only two reasons I'm gonna continue watching Marvel movies. But other than that, if they don't have their own movies, then I'm not gonna watch it. I don't really care about that universe, to be honest. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of this movie. Basically the plot of the movie is the Avengers are too dangerous to be a privately owned, organization. So the United Nations wants the Avengers to be part of the United Nations, to be under their wing. And they have to sign this thing to give up their rights and to order to be part of the UN and not to be treated as a criminal, because they have all this power and absolute power to go to any foreign country and do whatever they want and cause destruction. And Captain America doesn't want to sign it. Iron Man does, because the lady says that he killed one of her sons and he feels guilt. Now that starts the tension of the war. I gotta say, it took two directors to direct this movie, and this movie was shot all over the place. Berlin, Brooklyn, Queens, you got Africa, London. I mean, damn, this movie was shot all over the place. It was incredible. The tension and the action, I really enjoyed this movie. I gotta give props where props is due, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't feel bored at all. The movie kept me entertained. Now, the things that I didn't like about the movie would be, it was only the very beginning of the movie, and that's it, where they could have killed Black Widow by just simply shooting her. But they chose to fight her even though she was unarmed, which I thought it was retarded. That kind of pissed me off. And the fact that this mutant, I know she's a mutant, I really don't know her name and I really don't care, but she saves Captain America from being blown up by a bomb, and the guy dies, but she feels pain, she feels sorrow because the bad guy died. And that kind of pissed me off a bit, because you are a superhero. You're a person with powers. And along the way, people, and the same thing with innocent people. Innocent people are always going to die no matter what. So you can't stop that. The best thing you can do is save people that are alive, if that makes any sense. Casualties will always be there. Doesn't matter what war it is. Doesn't matter if it's a superhero movie. There's always going to be casualties in life, and you just got to deal with it and move on. But she cried like a bitch, and I didn't like that, because she saved her fellow soldier in a way. Or maybe I'm just cold-hearted. But that's it. The parts that I didn't like. Now, the movie, I entered the movie theaters at 11:30 and came out at almost 2:30. It's unbelievable. This movie's almost 3 hours. And, shit. I was entertained all the way. Again, I like the drama. This, to me, because I'm not a Marvel fan, it did not feel like a typical Marvel movie. And what I mean by this is, when I went to watch Avengers for the first time in movie theaters after, my sister's quinceañera, I did not like it whatsoever. It felt garbage to me. It felt oversaturated with action and not enough story development, character development. It felt flat, and I didn't like it whatsoever. Now this movie, it's shit, man. It changed. Like the tone, the presence, everything shifted. And I mean, sure, there's some comedic relief from Spidey here and there, and there's laughter to be laughed at. But the tone of the movie is somewhat serious than before, somewhat darker than it has been in previous Marvel movies. And I really enjoyed that. A lot. A lot. Now let's get to Spider-Man. I believe the actor's name is Tom Holland, whatever. He was a good Spider-Man. I enjoyed him being Spider-Man, but once he in the battle fight, he took off his mask, and Tony Stark came in to see if it was okay, and he took off his mask, and he had his mask like above his nose. I did not like him whatsoever. I don't like this guy. I think he's good as Spider-Man being in the suit, but when he's Peter Parker, I do not like him whatsoever. Maybe I just got used to Andrew Garfield, and I just got to get used to this guy in the next movie. I probably like him, but I'm not hating on him. Personally, I do not like him as Spider-Man. He was great being Spidey. I guess he has the charisma of Peter Parker and Spider-Man put together, which is great. But I just don't like the way he looks. To be honest, I just don't like the way he looks. Yeah. I mean, he's 19, so they're going to produce a lot of Spidey movies from this guy. So, he probably might be 40. 40-year-old still playing Spider-Man, like Hugh Jackman in Wolverine. I believe he's almost 50 or 60, and he's fucking jacked. So he's gonna be Spider-Man for a very long time. Aunt May, she's way too hot to be an aunt. I mean, and the movie even says it with Tony Stark, but he's quoted for saying an over attractive, hot aunt. She's incredibly hot. She's incredibly young, so she's like a MILF basically. But yeah, she didn't get enough screen time. But yeah, I like this guy, Spider-Man. He moves like a spider. The webs look amazing. The suit looks good. And I mean, I didn't really care about how he looked. I just wanted to see how they portrayed him in the movie, and so far they did a good job. So I can't wait to see another Spider-Man movie from this guy, and hopefully just his face, just the way he looks, grows on me. But other than that, he was a good Spider-Man. I enjoyed him being Spidey. I just still miss Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. But nonetheless, great Spider-Man, great Spidey, and the action. I mean, shit, man. Just the airport scene was just phenomenal. The action, people getting fights. Of course, they're getting into fights, but it didn't feel that too invested. And I'm gonna explain what I mean later. It felt kind of cartoonish in a way. It didn't feel gritty. It just felt like they were punching each other just to throw some action in there. There weren't really any incentives or motives to do all those things. And I'll explain myself later. But nonetheless, it was funny. The action was amazing. Top notch. Chris Evans is a good actor. And I can't wait to see what the next installment of Captain America has to hold. Now, towards the end of the movie, and again, I don't like Tony Stark. I don't like the guy who plays him, Robert Downey Jr. He sucks as an actor. He just plays himself. He's not really acting half the time. He calls himself he's he's the actor of this generation. Bullshit. He's not a good actor. That's my opinion. I'm gonna make a separate video if I want to, discussing why I don't like this guy. He's not good. And people dick suck the crap out of him. They get on their knees and everything. Oh, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing. But they can't name a movie that he's been prior to Iron Man. Just the dick suckers. I just hate the dick suckers. Because without Iron Man, he would not be acting right now. His acting career was over. Anyway, a little rant there. But yeah, okay. So, it got towards the end of the movie, and there was motives. You finally figure out why, and how Captain America, Iron Man's parents died. And it's funny because they threw the guy from Mad Men inside. I was like, hey, that's Rogers from Mad Men. I don't know if he was in previous Captain America movie, like the first one, because again, I only seen that once in the movie theaters in 2011. So,
He is the one behind all this.
but when Captain America and Iron Man was going at it, I felt the pain that both of them had. I felt the anger. I felt it. And that's what I like to see in my movies. I want to feel what the character's feeling at that moment. And Disney and Marvel did a wonderful job with the directors that they got to create that feeling of tension. Again, it hasn't been in previous Marvel movies. Because I said, and I'll say it again, this did not feel like a Marvel movie. And that maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. Because it took a darker tone than the previous one. People were getting their ass whooped. Iron Man, I'm Team Captain America. If you have not realized that, fuck Iron Man. But I mean, they're going at it, and I want to see more of that. I want to see more of them clashing against each other. And I think the movie, I didn't like the way the movie ended. It ended too heartwarming, heartfulish. And what I mean by that is, Captain America beat the living shit out of Iron Man. He could have killed him if he wanted to. I was kind of hoping for a nigga to die in this movie. But of course that did not happen. But they should have just ended the movie with Tony Stark sitting down and behind him is snow. And Iron Man just walks away with his friend, Bucky. And they should have just ended like that. Just, no resolve, nothing resolved, nothing. And just wait into the next movie. That would have been a perfect ending for me because it sets the tone for the other movies. But, they went lightheartedly in this one to end it. And that's another thing I didn't like. Now, the main message that I got from, or the tone that I got from this movie was vengeance and forgiveness, love and fear, and the two roots. And what I mean by that is each person has a nature of love and each person has a nature of fear. And within this fear we have, it is the emotions of anger, vengeance, and yada yada. And then there's forgiveness, which falls in, well, there's love that falls in forgiveness, compassion, and empathy. It was very heavily motivated, especially the themes of the movie. There's another themes of giving up your rights, which I'll talk about later. But it was heavily focused on forgiveness and vengeance. Like the two basic emotions, impulses that humans have are emotion or love and fear, vengeance and forgiveness. And it's basically setting the tone, because at the end, the guy was like, yeah, you know what, I was motivated through vengeance all my life, but Black Panther was like, I don't want to be consumed by that vengeance that they were, that anger, that hatred that these people were. So in a way, it's like the movie was saying, if you want to have true peace in life, you must let go. You must forgive. And, these teachings has been around for, 2,000 years. So it's kind of funny how the same teachings are still there and present and relevant in our everyday life. The two basic impulses. Which one defines our humanity? Should we and do all these hateful things because that's what our gut, that's what our anger, and that's what our impulses says to be animalistic? Or should we forgive, given you know, being in that moment? If someone killed your parents or killed your wife and kids, you'll seek revenge. But once you find that person, what will you do? And you figure out if it was accident or whatever, or he didn't mean to, or he did it on purpose. But you see how his life turned out being consumed by it. I guess the main theme of this movie was being consumed by this anger. And you know, that's gonna eventually, I want to see that to be in Spider-Man. I hope it is in Spider-Man, being consumed by vengeance when he gets the black suit. I hope to God they have that in the next Spider-Man movie, not the next recent one, because it's gonna be light-hearted and all this stupid crap. But they need to make a dark Spider-Man tone with this theme present. That's gonna be beautiful, especially with the dark suit. How much they can do with that, the symbiote. Now, the other thing is civil rights. Not civil rights. The other thing is taking away their rights, and that was a big theme of this movie, saying, "Well, you know what? If you want to be part of us, you got to take away your rights." And Captain America didn't want that, and Iron Man gracefully gave up his rights to not be, you know, called a criminal. But if you give up your rights, you can't question their authority. That's the thing. You're no longer free. You're no longer bound to make your own decisions. That was another theme heavily invested in this movie, giving up your rights. Would you give up your rights, or would you stand alone? And then when Captain America's wife, well, girlfriend, I guess, died, Peggy's aunt, I mean Peggy's whatever, not daughter, but you know what I mean if you've seen the movie. Niece, there we go. Peggy's niece was saying that you must believe what you believe is right and do what you think is right. I believe I just said the same thing. But do what you believe is right, and even though it's you against the world, still do it. So that's what these guys did, and it's like basically setting up that if someone tries to take away your rights and you don't want to sign the paper, you believe that they're infringing on your rights, you know, you got to stand up and fight for it. I know it's a superhero movie and it's just for entertainment and people just view it that way, but it did have these heavily dark themes and ideologies in this movie, which, you know, should be talked about.
You may expect to be summoned before the courts.
So, I mean, we're getting close to the end of this video. I can't believe I talked for this long. But I really enjoyed the movie. I highly recommend going out to the movie theaters and watching this. It got the seal of approval for me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm not even a Marvel fan. It was just a good movie with great action, great story, deep character development, just badass, intense fighting,